All right, so you finished the midterm, great job, but it's time to transition into the second half of the class. And it's a significant transition. Up to this point, we've talked about the process of collecting data, and that's really important. But we've also discussed, especially last week, that there's a lot of data that's available for you to collect without and use without creating a unique collection strategy. So, what do you do with that data? How do you utilize it to answer your questions or create new insights? What does it mean when we report a new finding in the news? That's what we're going to talk about the rest of the semester. Underlying everything you'll do in the second half is statistics. But the great thing about it is that you don't have to do a lot of math. We need to understand the statistics that we're using, but we don't need to calculate them ourselves because we can make computers do it for us. To some degree, that might be just replacing one uncomfortable thing, math, with another, coding. But the benefits and the time saving are gigantic, especially if you decide to go further with this. And so, what we'll learn in the second half of the class is some programming as a way to understand statistics and the use of data. The second half of the class can be intimidating, but my expectation is that none of you have any experience with coding. The textbook is designed to take you from the very beginning and walk you both step by step through understanding both what we're doing with data and how to do it in R. These lessons are probably more applicable to most people's careers than what we did in the first half of the class. Understanding how to run a survey is only really useful if you're a researcher or a pollster. That's not to say that it's useless. It's good for being an informed citizen, but it probably won't have a direct impact on most of your lives, to be honest about it. But being able to use data can be really valuable no matter where you work. Governments and private companies want people that can use data to help drive decisions. There really are limitless possibilities if you can understand statistics and be able to do some basic coding. There are a lot of issues of equity in computer science as companies and governments rely more and more on these skills to manage processes. The biases of computer scientists get baked into the code they run. And that's important. And it's a large part of why I'm really committed to trying to give more people an introduction or chance to learn these skills. I know most of you would never encounter coding if not for this class. And so I think of it somewhat as a foreign dish. A lot of you won't like the taste of it, but some of you might really like it and add it into your diet. Before I came to New Orleans, just a small story. I taught a class for master's students, and one of them worked in the Attorney General's office in the state of Washington. It was a beginner's class like this, and he hadn't had any prior experience with coding. And he reached out about a month or so after the class because he was trying to use R and code to help the office, the Attorney General's office, reorganize their records of crime so that it was listed by the most serious offense for people with multiple offenses. It was a really small thing. He was reaching out because he wanted help with the code because it was a little bit beyond what we did in the class. And it was only 4 lines of code. And it's so basic that it wouldn't even occur to me that they wouldn't be doing that already. But this student tried a new thing, took this basic skill, and was able to get noticed at work because he had this secret special knowledge. And it's one of the best emails I've ever gotten. And it shows that the skills you can learn can be applied in a lot of different ways, beyond just sort of the direct things that we're doing in this class. But learning about coding opens up an entire different world of sort of interacting with your professional life. And so it can be annoying, it can be frustrating, absolutely. But hopefully you see the power of these skills, this power that it might hold. And hopefully you're willing to pursue it at least for the next 7 weeks, if not beyond that. Best of luck as you get started. And of course, I'm here to help.